friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen and I am super excited for today's video because it is the first YouTube video that I've made in I think over 2 months. So if you've been here before, you might know that I recently got married and I went on my honeymoon. I shared some pictures on my Instagram, so I will link it below. It's Baby Fever Babe if you're interested. But I have so much to share about both my wedding and my honeymoon. They were both perfect. There was so much planning that went into both, and it feels so good to say that they were both anything I could have dreamed of, and then even more than that, they were just beyond perfect. I am so happy. I've been back for about a month now, and my husband and I were already living together, so I wouldn't say that too much has changed, but it's been a really great month, so I'm very, very happy with just how everything is going. But I am making this YouTube video because I did a bit of shopping on my honeymoon, and I thought that there might be some people here on YouTube that are interested in seeing what I got. So the two things that I bought mostly were yarn and books. I bought some clothing, a few clothing items and things on my honeymoon, but I got a lot of books and a lot of yarn. My intention was to buy yarn in every country we went to. So I live in America and I live in Miami, so it's hot here. And it's pretty difficult to get yarn that isn't from Michael's, so it's a lot of acrylic yarn, and I've actually never knit with a really nice 100% wool or anything like that, so I'm really excited. So yeah, I bought a lot. Let me just get into it. I think I'm gonna start with the books because the yarn is the bulk of it, so I'll do the books. I'll show you guys. I'll tell you a little bit of a story of how I got them, and then we'll get on with the yarn. I have a big pile of books here on the floor, and I bought 5 books in Europe, and my husband bought a bunch too, so we actually ended up getting an extra suitcase for our ride home because we also bought a bunch of wine. I actually have a few bottles here, so maybe I'll show you guys those at the end. I can tell you about our wine. But books. So the first two on my pile are these. They're little, and they are from, they are from Livraria Lelo in Porto, Portugal. And if you've never heard of this bookstore, it's actually one of the most beautiful bookstores in the world. It was voted most beautiful bookstore in the world a few years in a row. And it is where the woman who wrote Harry Potter lived near here for a while and frequented the bookstore. And they make a lot of copies of classic books. So I bought 2 of them. This one I bought for myself. It is the most beautiful stories of Beatrix Potter. And so, her classic story is Peter Rabbit, but she has a whole bunch of stories. I actually don't know the other ones, but I just thought it was really cute and something that was kind of functional, because I think that I will in fact read this with my kids one day. And it's adorable, and I wanted to get one. It has the pretty gold pages, and so I was excited about that. And then my sister loves to read, and her birthday is coming up, and so I bought her a few things in Europe, but I bought her this book. It's The Great Gatsby, which I don't think she's ever read, but she's read a lot of similar styled books, and I thought that she would really like it. And again, I just thought it was really pretty, and her room is beautiful. My sister's very good at interior design, much better than I am, and so I think it'll look really pretty on one of her shelves. So I was excited about those. The next book I got may have been the book that I was most excited about. So when I was in Italy, I went to Venice as one of our stops on our trip, and we went to Libreria Acqua Alta is what it's called, and it is a bookstore that floods when the water levels rise in Venice. So all the books are on shelves and some of them are in gondolas, and I bought this book, and it was the only copy of it I saw. I don't know how they order their books, but a lot of the books, they either have a shelf with a ton of it, or it's kind of one scattered in the back. And it is a toy making book, so it is a lot of traditional Italian toy making recipes, I guess you could say, and instructions. There's a few really easy ones in the back that I will definitely make, like some just simple sewing patterns, like this one. I believe it's a dog. And then there's also a bunny, and they have these prints. I don't want to show everything, but those ones I'll definitely make. Here's the bunny. I'll definitely make this one. I think it's my first plan. So I'm excited about those. And then there are some more complicated things that I don't speak Italian, so they're gonna be hard to figure out. My husband speaks a little bit, so he maybe can help me. And then there's also some knitting patterns, which are also in Italian, but also super cute. I just thought this book was really cool. I was really excited about it, and I'm still really excited about it. I would like to display it somewhere. Yeah, excited about this one. The next book I got is not a crafting book. It is a copy in Spanish of Los Siete Maridos de Evelyn Hugo, or The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is one of my favorite books in English, and so I bought it in Madrid in Spanish so that I can read it again, and I already know the story, so it'll be a little bit easier to keep up, and I can practice my Spanish. My husband's fluent in Spanish, and I am far from fluent, but I speak a bit of Spanish, and I work with a lot of people who speak Spanish, so I've really been trying to get better at it. A lot of the kids that I treat at work have sometimes parents who only speak Spanish, but a lot of grandparents sometimes bring the kids, and a lot of them only speak Spanish, so it would be much nicer if I could really communicate with them at the level that I would like to, because right now I'm not there. So I've started reading this. It is surprisingly hard. I thought, because I'm actually better at reading Spanish than hearing it and understanding, that I would have an easier time with it, but it's been pretty tricky. But I'm enjoying it a lot, and my husband's been reading it with me, which is fun. It's one of my favorite books. The last thing I got, and if you are at all involved with like the knitting community on YouTube or Instagram, you may know this book, is this one, The 52 Weeks of Shawls. And I have seen this book online and think it's so cool. And in Miami, it's kind of hard to knit sweaters and things because it's so hot that you wouldn't really use them. But shawls, I feel like, are really good in between, because you can knit some really cool shawls and they'll keep you warm, but like it's not a full sweater. So I saw this when I was in Miss Kit's, which is a yarn store in Madrid, and I was so excited, and so I bought it, and I bought yarn on my trip to make 2 of the shawls. So I'll show you which ones. I'll show you one of them because I have it bookmarked here. Comes with a little bookmark. The book is beautiful. And honestly, I would even get it just as a coffee table book. I've been leaving it out. It's such a great book. The instructions are clear. There's tons of charts. I will say that if you're not like a chart person, if you prefer to read your patterns, that you might not like it because there's a lot of charts, but there's a lot of beautiful pictures and just beautiful patterns. So this is the one I'm working on right now, and I believe it's a pretty common one to do from the book, and it's beautiful, so I would imagine it is. It is the Wildflower Shawl, and it's coming out really good. I'll show it in a podcast. Probably my next video will be an update on my knitting stuff, and this one is coming out so good, and I'm having so much fun with it because there's so many different parts to the pattern. It's kind of like making a puzzle or something, and I'm really, really enjoying it a lot. And then I also bought yarn. Let me see if I can find it quickly. If not, it'll just be in my next video. But there's another one that I'm making that is a little bit smaller and less intricate. Oh, I don't know where it is. But I also really want to make this one, so I'll show you this one so you can get another feel. This one is like a mohair shawl, and I really like this one a lot. I'll show you another close-up picture. I'll try to cover the words, but this one right here I really like. But yeah, there's 52 shawls. Definitely can't do one a week, which you might be tricked into thinking based off of the name. But yeah, I really like this book. Maybe I'll do a full review in a YouTube video, because last time I did a book review of the Charming Colorwork Socks video, or the book, people found the video helpful. So maybe I'll do one of this, but I also like this one. This one's pretty. So yeah, I'm super excited. I've made a lot of progress on my shawl, and I can't wait for it to be all done. It's one of the projects that I am enjoying making, and I'm also going to enjoy having a lot, which is a cool feeling, because sometimes projects feel like one or the other. You either enjoy making it, but then you don't use it as much, or like you really want it, but the process of making it isn't as fun. But this shawl is fun, and I am excited to have it in my wardrobe. So that's my last book. Let's get into the yarn, which I'm so excited about. So like I said, it's hard to get yarn here, and I wanted to buy yarn from every country that I went to in Europe, and I was successful. I was definitely successful in doing that. So the one that I'm using, oh, well, let me show you guys. Look at my yarn. I made this really pretty basket of yarn that I've been keeping in my living room. Isn't it pretty? It has a big blanket in it, and it's so cozy. And a friend of a friend came over the other day and asked if we had a pet cat. I had to explain that we don't, it's all mine, which was kind of a funny conversation. But here's my yarn. So anyway, this is mostly yarn from my trip. I've used some of my nicer yarns that I already had to kind of fill in the gaps, but let's get into it. My yarn that I'm using to make the wildflower shawl is this one, which is from Oveja Negra, which means the black sheep in Portuguese. It is a Portuguese yarn, and it's actually, so that's the store I got it from, and it is also their own brand, I believe, which is really cool. It's super woolly. It like has hay in it when I knit with it, and it smells like a sheep. And it has a little sheep on the label. And I really liked the store. I bought 10 balls of this, and it will definitely be enough for the shawl, which is good. I've been using it double. And I'm really enjoying knitting with it. It definitely isn't like a soft, comfy sweater kind of yarn. Like if that's what you're looking for, then this one is definitely not it. But if you're looking for something that will be thick and warm and has that woolly feel, then it's a really good one. And I really, really, really enjoy knitting with this. I will definitely buy more of it. I have so much yarn, but every time I knit with this, I'm like, oh, this is so cool to knit with. It feels so woolly. It's 100% wool. It feels like they took it right off the sheep and spun it and said, here you go. And it's working really well for my shawl, which again, I'll show you guys in another video, but I highly recommend this yarn. So also, if you're ordering to the US, it's not that expensive, which is also a nice feeling, because sometimes ordering yarn here is ridiculous, and then it's not worth it. But that one's not. The next thing I got from Bella, which is a yarn store in Venice, Italy, and the woman who helped me there was amazing. She and her mom own the yarn store together. Sorry, I'm thirsty. I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's some thunder outside. It's been thundering every day for like weeks around this time. It's around dinner time right now, and that just happens in Miami during the rainy season. But anyway, Bella is in Venice, and I bought yarn for 2 different projects there. So this is for a baby sweater that I actually already finished, and I'm not going to show you guys yet because I want to do a full knitting update video, but I really like this yarn. It is, I think it's like a super washed wool. It's very soft, and it is made to knit for babies. I'll link it below because I no longer have the little sleeves on it, obviously, because I've been using it. But I've also posted on my Instagram a few times, so you can check it out there. And it's so soft. I'm so excited about how the baby sweater came out. I don't have a baby yet, in case you didn't know that, but I will one day. And then I will have a sweater from each country that I went to, because that was my goal, to buy baby yarn from each country I went to make a baby outfit. So yes, baby outfit number 1 is from Bella in Venice. And then the other thing I bought from there is this yarn. And this yarn is super soft. It is 40% alpaca, 22% merino, and 38% modal, which I don't know what that is. The label is in all Italian. And again, this is from the same store in Venice, but I'm using this to make the Levitate wrap by My Favorite Things Knitwear, which I saw all over my Instagram before I went on my trip, and was trying to pick out a sweater that I wanted to make, and wanted something that was very like classy, could be worn with a lot of things, but at the same time, again, it's hot here, so I didn't want like some of the petite knit sweaters I just think wouldn't be very functional here. And the wrap is nice because it's a wrap, and I feel like those always tend to be a little bit more airy and less hot. So I'm really excited to knit with this. The nice thing about the store in Venice was that they had swatches of like all of the yarn, which is crazy. So they had a swatch of this, and it was so soft, so I'm really excited. I am a little bit worried because I thought I'd have to hold the yarn double, but the store owner in Venice told me I didn't have to, so I trusted her, and I only bought 4 balls of this, which I hope is enough. She was very convinced that it would be plenty. She said that 3 might be enough, but like get the 4th. So I don't know. We'll see, but it's super soft. It's a great yarn. The brand is Lana Grassa. That's what it looks like. I really like it. Super soft. So I'm excited about that. And that is everything that I bought in in Italy, actually. I didn't buy, so we also went to Rome and the Amalfi Coast, but there's not, I don't believe there are any good yarn shops in those areas, but I could be wrong. So I just did the Venice shopping. So next is my trip to Madrid. And I went to 2 different yarn stores in Madrid. So the woman who wrote the Charming Colorwork Socks book, which is my favorite sock knitting book, I actually messaged her on Instagram because she was recently in Madrid, and I asked if she had any suggestions. And she said that you have to go to Miss Kit's in Madrid when you visit. So I did, and she was right. It was my favorite yarn store out of all the yarn stores we went to. I also really liked the one in Venice. I went to 4 yarn shops, but the one in Madrid, Miss Kit's, was by far my favorite. The people there were so nice, so helpful. My Spanish, as I said, was poor, but I spoke to them in Spanish, and they were very helpful in that sense too. And so let me show you what I got. So I bought the 52 Shawls book from Miss Kit's Madrid, and they helped me pick out my yarn for one of the shawls. So I got these 2 colors. I was looking for something really like light and fun, something that would be kind of exciting to knit, and the shawl pattern had 2 colors. So these are 2 colors I got. I got 3 balls of one and 2 of the other. It's a classic merino by Katya. It was very affordable. I think it is part acrylic, which I didn't realize when I bought it. I honestly might not have bought it if I had seen that, because I could probably get something similar over here, but that's okay. Because it's very soft, and I liked the colors, and I think it'll be a very easy knit, because some of the very woolly yarns, I think it'll be nice to have a break from those, although I'm enjoying them. They can be a little bit tough on your hands, so I don't know. I think it'll be nice to knit with. And then I also bought some other things from Miss Kit's. What else? Okay, I bought this. So again, Miss Kit's was affordable. It was great. The people were so nice, and I wanted to buy stuff for another project, but I wasn't sure what to buy. And then my husband suggested I do something summery, and I am not like a camisole knit kind of girl. I don't really find that exciting, but I went through the ones on my favorite things knitwear, and I found one I really liked, so I'm gonna make it. And I bought the Drops Flora Mix yarn, which is, let's see, it's made in Peru. It's wool. Oh, okay, there we go. It's alpaca and wool mix, and it's super soft. I think it'll be really nice for a little camisole. I think it's gonna be super comfortable and nice. And like, I guess sometimes I feel silly spending money on like something to make a camisole because it seems so everyday wear and like basic, but I think it'll feel very luxurious. So I'm excited. That's what I have for that. I've also seen the Drops yarn a lot on YouTube and Instagram. People seem to really like it, so I'm excited to try it for that reason as well. And I think that's all I got from there. I may have gotten, I'll show you guys, I don't remember if I got this in Portugal or Madrid, or maybe like a mix of the 2, but I got 2 other Drops yarns. One is just a regular extra fine, and then one's a baby merino. And I am using the thinner yarn, I believe, to make the teddy suit, I think it's called, from Petite Knit, the baby onesie with the little teddy bear embroidered on front. And then I think I got that from Madrid, and then this one is the same color, and my husband asked if I could make a matching bonnet, so that one day when we have a baby and we put him in the little teddy suit, he has a little matching bonnet with ears on it. So hopefully when the baby fits in that, we'll be visiting our family in New York, because he won't be wearing it here. But I bought the same color, same drops, just 2 different sizes to do that with. And then let's see, one more thing I have is this yarn. So, oh, okay, so the other place that I went is We Are Knitters, and that's also in Madrid. I will say that out of the 4 yarn shops I went to, so I went to Alveja Negra in Portugal, I went to Lalabella in Venice, and then I went to Miss Kit's and We Are Knitters in Spain. We Are Knitters is the only chain store, and it was definitely my least favorite out of all the yarn stores, but it was still very nice. I still liked it a lot. The woman who worked there like didn't really have much of an interest, I felt like, in talking to me, but also she was speaking Spanish, and my Spanish isn't great, so I don't know, that could be it too. But I got this yarn, and it is a cotton, and I am going to use it to make another Petite Knit baby knit. I think she calls them a pullover. I call them sweater vests. Yeah, I'm excited about that. So I think that is actually the last yarn object that I got, kind of. Yeah, that's all the yarn I bought. It felt like a lot more when I was there. I think that's pretty reasonable. I feel pretty good about that. Two other things I got really quick. Also, again, in Portugal, from Oveja Negra, are buttons, because they had a lot of little handmade, cute, adorable buttons. And I needed buttons for the sweater that I already made, so I actually already used a bunch of these buttons for the sweater I made, which I'll show you guys in another video. But they have little bears on them. And I let my husband pick out buttons for the sweater. I asked him to pick some, and he really liked these. I hope you can see it, and I hope you can ignore my nails while I show you. But that's what it looks like. I hope you can see it. It's a very cute little bear. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that I got, another little fun add-on to my shopping spree, was that I got tags to sew into my knits. So I'm making my husband a sweater. It's been taking me forever. I'm almost done. I'm unhappy with it. But once that is done, I will pick one of these to put on, and then the baby one I can put on, and they say handmade, and they have all different little pictures. So there's a plant, there's a sewing needle, there's a little girl, and there are spoons. And you just cut them and you sew them in. And they also had a ton of these at Oveja Negra. Like at the front, they had these and the buttons. And I am really excited to sew one of these on. I have baby sweater finished. I can sew it onto. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. But that is all of my yarn and all of my plans for my yarn, which is very exciting because I have been waiting to go to Europe and buy nice yarn and knit with it. I'm very excited. We had the best honeymoon. We had the best wedding, the best honeymoon, and I am just over the moon excited about both. I also bought cool knitting needles in Madrid, which I have now misplaced. They looked cool. I didn't really like using them very much. I much preferred, I have the hehe Sharps interchangeable ones, and I preferred those a lot to the ones that I bought, but that's fine. So yeah, I figured the last thing I would do is show you guys some of the wine that I got, only because it happens to be right next to me, and we bought a lot of wine. So the first thing that I got, we were in Porto in Portugal, and if you have never had port wine, you should try it. But port wine is a wine that is only made in the Douro Valley in Portugal, and it's my husband's favorite wine, and that's kind of why we went to Portugal. There were other reasons we were very excited to see Portugal, but he loves port wine. He wanted to do the wine tour of all the wineries there. We did, and there was a lot of wine I loved. This one actually isn't a port wine. This is a rosé, but it's also from Portugal. And we had it at a tasting, and I loved it. And so I got 2 bottles of it. And it's great. Love it. So that is one of the things we got. I want to show you guys, so I'm gonna go grab it. I'll be right back because the other wine is over there in my kitchen. Hold on. I am back. Okay, so we actually ended up buying another suitcase. I might have said that to get home from Europe, mostly because of all of the wine that we had bought that just didn't fit in our suitcases. But I have 3 more bottles here that I am excited to show you guys. So first of all, we stayed at a very nice hotel in Portugal, only for 2 nights, and then we ended up going somewhere else because the very nice one was very expensive. But it was called the Yeatman. I believe that's how you say it, or Yeatman. I've heard both. I might sound silly, but that's okay. But on the same property is the Taylor's Winery, and my husband loved this wine. It was his favorite. It is a port wine. It is a vintage port from 2017, and it's delicious. It's super, super chocolatey. It is ridiculously chocolatey, which I thought I'd be super into, but I actually learned that I prefer a white port. So this is the one that he bought. He was very excited about it. He also bought one for one of his good friends who drank it with him already, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. I bought this one. So this is the oldest port winery in Portugal, and we went and did a wine tour there, which was really cool. And I didn't know that white ports were a thing. I thought that they were all red. And I am a red wine girl, but when I tried this one, I realized that I am a white port wine girl. So I bought it. My sister is visiting for her 21st birthday in August, and I think that is when I will drink it, because she's coming and I have another friend coming and my cousins might be coming. So I'm thinking the night that they all get in, we just do like a charcuterie wine chill night and we can all drink this together. It was really good. It was delicious. You have to drink it super cold. And we had the most fun time on our wine tour. Our guide was great. Maybe I'll do a review of all the cool stuff we did, because if you're going to Europe, the wine tour that we did in Porto was one of the highlights. It was so great. The last thing we bought is this one. This wine I was unsure about at first. My husband loved it immediately. It was the wine that they gave us when we checked into the Yatemans. Like, we checked in, they gave us a glass of wine, because some of the nice hotels give you a welcome wine, which is always so fun. And it was, it's kind of weird tasting wine. I've learned that I thought that I have had wine from many different places, but when you travel and you've only ever been in America, you learn that there are a lot of wines that don't taste like what you thought all wines tasted like. I don't know if that makes sense. But I thought that all wines had kind of a similar taste, but like a lot of variations of kind of a similar taste. This one and another Spanish wine that I had were just shocking to me because they were so different from anything I'd ever had. But my husband loved this one. It was his favorite wine, I think, that he had in our whole trip. And so we bought it. It says it is light and crisp with a subtle pink glow and an abundance of vibrant, fresh berry flavors. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was delicious. After the first few sips, I was just surprised. It was the second time on the trip that I had something and I was like, wow, this doesn't even taste like wine, but it's delicious. And that's everything that I bought on our trip. I hope that you enjoyed watching this. In some of my next videos, I'll make sure to update you guys with what I'm using the yarn for, how it's going, maybe a review of the 52 Weeks of Shawls books if you're interested. And that is it for today. I appreciate you watching if you made it all the way, and I hope you're doing well. Bye! Looks you in the eye.